Okay, it's 7 o'clock, 7:05, the 1st of April, 2011, and it's still sunny out, and this is the hexahedron cluster in bright sunshine. If you notice now, there are 3 orbs on the bottom to its left and the right of the screen on the bottom. And you can also see the rays of light going like an X emitting from it. Also, another thing you can see better today is all the entities in the back of it and around it. Those white orbs all over the screen. I'm going to back up the camera later and show that all the trees are covered with those things in that entire area. And not just that area, in the entire city of Toronto. I'm just going to let the camera run for a while so that you can see the behavior of the large cluster and the behavior of the smaller clusters. Obviously there are no other lights on since it's still sunny out, and there are no street lights on or any other lights on because it's still daylight. So this is the only park in that entire, the only light, sorry, in that entire area that looks like a park, but it's really part of a golf course. And there are the trees. I'm going to go closer. Okay, I want you to look closely at the entities on the trees. Those white orbs all over the trees. Every tree in Toronto is totally saturated with those type of orbs. And I know that they are visible because I can see them even on this tiny little screen that this tiny little camera has. It's a good little camera because it does 400x zoom with clear focus. Okay, that object there is about 2 kilometers from me, or the entity, the clusters, they're 2 kilometers away from me. Here's how far away they are. Okay, so that's at least 2 kilometers. And look at this little camera. It fits in the palm of my hand. Check it out. How clear that focus is. You can clearly see that there are orbs in the back of that entity on trees and on everything else in that entire area. Even on the ground. Even on the houses around there. Even on my building where I'm filming from. On every single thing in sight. They're all over the place. And this is not a joke, and there is nothing wrong with the camera. That white mist there is just the sheer number of those entities in the air between me and that large cluster over there 2 kilometers away. And that's what creates that milky kind of view in real life too, not just the camera. That's how you see it in real life, just like that. That's how the trees look. They don't look real. But that's only because those entities are all over them. And I zoom in a little closer to show them. Okay, you can clearly see that they're all over the trees in clusters. So if I can see those entities in the back of that cluster and those other three small clusters in the back of them on trees on this little monitor, you should be able to see them on the large screen when you look at them on your computer. As you can see, all the trees are milky white, and that's from all the entities that are on them. Those entities have a sort of neutral color, even slightly pinkish, but in sunlight they turn pale pink, and that's what gives the trees that coloration. Whether you're shooting the trees with a camera or looking at them with your naked eyes, it doesn't matter. Binoculars, the same thing. I've tried telescope, binoculars, other cameras, and this camera. They all show the same thing, including with nothing, just my eyes. So those entities are there no matter who says what, and who wants to deny it, and who doesn't think so, and who cares what they think, because that's not going to change reality. The reality of the matter is that these things are actually here in the third dimension. This is not in another dimension now. They are in our dimension. And there is no one that can deny that. No one. Just check out how many of them are on those trees. And that milky white substance there, that's smaller entities, just like the big cluster. They're microscopic. That's what makes the thing look like milk. White like that. It's billions and billions and billions, unmeasurable billions of them. I don't know what the number would be, because I never learned the number so high. But that's how many of those entities there are in our air, in the upper atmosphere, on the ground, all over everything, and period. They're here, and they're not going to go away. So it doesn't matter who denies them. They're still going to be here and do whatever they want to do, because they're not going to listen to people denying them, or they're not going to listen to people, period. They're here for a purpose. I don't know what it is, but they sure seem to. And that large cluster has made all those smaller clusters there today. Every day it makes more of those smaller clusters. Now those smaller clusters then collect those little tiny particles that make up that milky substance there that you see on the screen. Those are all microscopic clusters like themselves, just small. And then they get larger by collecting all those smaller particles and combining them into themselves. They just grow bigger and bigger. So eventually they'll be up in the atmosphere as huge clusters.